Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. This reading is going to be on Karen McDougal. News broke recently that she is not going to testify in the New York criminal trial involving Donald Trump. It looks like Todd Blanche said the people informed me they no longer intend to call Miss McDougal, so we won't be discussing that, as he was talking to reporters. The prosecutors came out later and said, "Oh, we had her on the witness list, but we never affirmatively indicated we were going to call her." Six one way, half dozen the other. But before I get in the reading, I've got a little business to take care of. Do you like these readings? Do you like snark? Do you find my voice mellow and soothing? Well, you're weird. But that's okay. We've got an answer for that weirdness. It's the Gary and David Twin Tarot channel. My brother and I just started a new channel on YouTube. I will have a link in the description, as well as the little box that appears down here. We just put up our first video today, talking about with whether Trump was going to violate the gag order with regards to Michael Cohen's testimony that's coming up this week. So if you like snark, you like silly humor, and you like the double trouble that twins can have, come on over to our new channel and check out the description. We'd appreciate if you'd subscribe to the channel, watch the videos, give it a thumbs up, throw some comments and all that stuff. The mayhem is fun enough on this channel, but now you can get twice the mayhem for the same free membership, for the same free subscription price. Anyways, back to your regularly scheduled reading. Okay, so here we go. Karen McDougal looks like she's not going to be testifying. I'm kind of curious why. There's a great quote at the end of this article from the Daily Beast. And it was after Steinglass had quoted what Blanche told the jurors during opening statements, that they said Stormy Daniels was paid so she would not spread false claims against Trump. And Steinglass, who's one of the district attorneys, said they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're trying to discredit Miss Daniels by claiming in their opening that her story is false, and then precluding people from eliciting the very details that could corroborate her account. This is, Trump and his lawyers basically saying that Stormy Daniels talked too much, she gave up too many details, and we should have a mistrial. Further, Mr. Steinglass went on to say, "We went out of our way to avoid the most salacious details, hinting that there were details about the sex that could be independently corroborated. A veiled threat that could be taken to mean physical descriptions of Trump's naked body." I'm sorry, I didn't give you a warning on that, did I? So if you just spit out your coffee in disgust, that wasn't very kind of me. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's one of those things we've talking about, Trump's shrunken mushroom. And this, it's like if she didn't talk about it, they said they were going to talk about genitalia. Remember, that was the initial part. They said, we are not going to be talking about genitalia. So you take that statement with that other lead-in statement about not talking about genitalia, that's pretty much what they're talking about. She was going to talk about Trump's ding-a-ling. And it must be significant enough that she could probably identify it in a lineup, which is also dangerous for the defense, because if you call witnesses, and I don't know if the defense is going to call any witnesses, but if you call witnesses, you go after Stormy Daniels and you say that she didn't have an affair with him, you can open up Pandora's box for her to give those salacious details. Just saying. But we're talking about Karen McDougal in this reading, so come on down. Let's see what Karen McDougal's got going on here, okay? What's the energy around Karen McDougal and the testimony? Why did they not call her as a witness? Two of Coins is the signifying card. It's decreasing value in it. Now, the defense didn't want her called as a witness, which is interesting. It would make you think that the prosecution would want to call her as a witness. I think she would probably be very convincing as a witness. But it might just be that the prosecution feels like they've proved all the elements of the case, and her testimony wasn't going to advance this case any further. All it was going to do is extend it. And the longer you extend this case, the more opportunities you give Donald Trump to try and find a way to undermine it. So I think they figured out that maybe she wasn't going to advance the ball much further, but it could take time, or under cross-examination, something could have happened that would undermine their case. So I think that's why the prosecution moved away from this. Crossed with the magician card. And underneath is the star card. The magician, again, Karen McDougal could tell a story about love and falling in love with Donald Trump. And again, you can have salacious details and something along those lines. But it's kind of a different story. It's more of her falling in love with him as opposed to him forcing himself on an adult entertainer. And maybe, this would cause confusion with the jury, because maybe Trump could say, oh, yeah, I was going to have an affair with Stormy Daniels, too. She really is my kind of girl type of thing. I think there was to me, it's like, the jury's going to get confused by this. That a bunch of stuff would be revealed that would be confusing. And Stormy Daniels' testimony, probably watching the jury, they probably know that Stormy Daniels' testimony was devastating. Therefore, you don't need to bring on this next person. She's just going to confuse matters. Yeah, in the past, we got the Six of Wands. We've got the victim. Oh, and star card. She would have been a star witness in this one. But again, I think this is more Stormy Daniels' testimony was the star that they needed to really drive this case forward here. In the past, you got the Six of Wands. They got her to agree. I think the prosecution thinks they've got a victory here. They don't need Karen McDougal to seal the victory. I think they feel like they've got that victory. Current situation is the Ace of Wands. Now you bring in Michael Cohen here to resolve the testimony. They don't need Karen McDougal's testimony. And, it could be that maybe if Trump wins on an appeal and they have to retry this case, the defense does not have Karen McDougal's testimony. So you've got something in the bag that's not a known quantity. Ace of Wands. I think they don't feel like they have to really pound this into the jury, though. I think, again, the jury would just be confused by it. Overarching energy is the Four of Coins. They've shown the conspiracy. They've shown how the money was passed around. Sometimes you want to have enough. Again, the prosecution has to show a preponderance of the evidence, but it's okay to hold some evidence back. It's just, piling on. They don't need to pile on. This is kind of this is a less is more type of mindset here. This is probably a call by Alvin Bragg. I think Alvin Bragg made that call, saying, we don't need to do this. We've got this. Less is more. Let's just move on and get this case to the judge. So wrap up the prosecution. Defense does what they're going to do, and let's get this case to the judge and to the jury. The outcome is the Five of Cups. There could be stuff that Karen McDougal could have brought forward in this case. I don't think she was looking forward to testifying, to be really honest. And that might have come through also with this. Maybe some of the district attorneys wanted to bring her on here because when they nail this guy, they want to nail this guy. But I think something could have happened with her testimony that would have been problematic for the prosecution, which is why they're not going to do that. Now they have to contend with Alan Weisselberg because the judge wants Alan Weisselberg brought in there, and they now have to deal with Weisselberg. That could be another reason. I can't remember which came first here. Them announcing Karen McDougal wasn't going to testify, or the judge having concern about Alan Weisselberg not having been subpoenaed and asked if he would be willing to testify against Donald Trump or not. So, in the end, I think the prosecution's doing it because it's going to be better for their case. And you go, you have a little ace in your back pocket in case you need it. That sort of thing. Okay. How's the defense viewing Karen McDougal not being brought as a witness? I'm kind of curious. How, because they didn't want it. They were trying to get her suppressed as a witness. So obviously they were concerned about some of the things that she would say or corroborate. Of course, if they had their way, nobody would be a witness against Donald Trump, right? I'm sure they objected to every witness that was there. So, defense. Karen McDougal. King of Wands. Wanting to take action. Why did they not want her on there? Wanted the judge or somebody like that to take action. What is it? Knight of Pentacles. You know, you can make an argument that, yeah, okay. You can make an argument that Stormy Daniels is trying to extort money, but the jury was going to be much more sympathetic to Karen McDougal because she actually liked the king for who he was. That's kind of a weird thing to say, but I'm just saying it. And while Stormy Daniels could be painted as a lady of the night and a porn star or something like that, Karen McDougal has much more of the girl next door type of vibe to her. And she was the one that broke off the relationship with Trump when she couldn't take it anymore with what was going on. Guess what? She finally figured out she was being used for sex. Yeah, the guy's here with his pole. Always looking forward to meeting up with her because he wants to stoop. And he can't say that she was extorting him because they had a 10-month affair. And it's funny because if you had the 10-month affair, that could be the person you could say is guilty of extortion. But they weren't going to be able to sell that to the jury, and they knew that. In the past is the Knight of Wands. It's that slow progression of the relationship and how they met and did things together. The money that was being spent, the secrecy, and just the stuff around it. It was going to be problematic. Current situation is the Page of Cups. They can't figure out a way to paint her off as delusional. They can go after Stormy Daniels, but they couldn't figure out a way to get her to be delusional. And they felt that she was going to bring this case down because they didn't know how to attack her. How interesting is that? The lesson to be learned. It's kind of funny. The prosecution didn't call her. If there's an appeal and Trump's team were to win an appeal, she's still there. She's still around. She's still a threat. She's still a piece on the board that has not been addressed yet. So this kind of ties up Trump's legal team as well. They get their wish. She's not testifying, but I don't think they need her to testify to secure this case. And then they're held to whatever testimony might be in a future case, if that's happening. The end of the day, King of Swords, they'll take it. They will take this victory right now. They think in the end this is much better for them than if Miss McDougal had testified. And they'll deal with the appeal when the appeal comes. Okay. Yeah, so in the end, it looks like they couldn't figure out a way to cheapen, besmirch, or minimize Karen McDougal. They didn't know how they were going to do it. And the prosecution did them a favor. But the prosecution also feels like they don't need her testimony. They've got this case sewn up. All right. I'm okay with that. I'm sure Karen McDougal is okay with that too. I think that testimony was going to be really, really hard on her. Okay. Is there anything else I want to throw in that? I think that's it. I think that ties this up in a nice little bow, as it were. And we will leave it at this. Again, thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. I would appreciate it also if you take a look again at the Gary and David Twin Tarot channel. Link will be in the description as opposed to a box like right around here. If you just click on that little picture, it will take you to the video. And it's the first video that we put up, and it went up on Sunday. Thank you for your likes, shares, comments, everything that you've done to help build this channel up and make it what it is. I really do appreciate it. For folks discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome to the channel. Glad you found us. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.